If you're watching this at night, you need to hear this. It's 2 a.m. Everyone else is asleep, but you're here.
Searching for something you can't quite name, and I know why.
Because right now, in this moment, you're the most honest version of yourself you'll be all day. The masks are off.
The performance is over, and that thing you've been running from all day, it finally caught up with you. This video is for you.
Let me guess what brought you here tonight. Maybe it was that conversation you keep replaying in your head. The one where you said the wrong thing, or worse, said nothing at all. Maybe it's the weight of everyone else's expectations crushing down on you, while you lie there wondering if you're even living your own life anymore.
Or maybe it's simpler than that. Maybe you just feel alone. Not lonely. There's a difference.
You can be surrounded by people and still feel alone. You can have 100 friends and still feel like nobody actually sees you.
Nobody knows the real you, the one who's scared, who's tired, who sometimes wonders if they're doing any of this right.
That's the version of you I'm talking to right now.
And here's what I need you to know. You're not broken for feeling this way.
See, there's something that happens when the sun goes down. The world gets quiet, the distractions fade, and suddenly you're left with just you.
Your thoughts, your regrets, your fears. The things you spend all day burying under work, under Netflix, under anything that keeps you from sitting still long enough to feel them.
The night strips away all your defenses, and that's terrifying, because during the day you can pretend, you can smile at coworkers.
You can post the highlight reel on social media. You can be the version of yourself that everyone expects. But at night?
At night, you can't lie to yourself anymore. You start thinking about that dream you gave up on because someone told you it wasn't practical.
That person you pushed away because you were too scared to be vulnerable. That version of yourself you promised you'd become, but somehow never did. And the worst part? You feel like you're the only one. Like everyone else has it figured out. Like everyone else is sleeping peacefully while you're drowning in thoughts you can't turn off.
But here's the truth they don't tell you. Everyone feels this way. Right now, there are millions of people awake just like you. Staring at their ceiling. Questioning everything. Feeling exactly what you're feeling. That successful person you admire, they have nights like this too.
That friend who always seems so put together, they have nights like this. That stranger you passed on the street today,
They're probably awake right now too, wondering if they matter.
we're all walking around pretending we have it together while secretly falling apart in the dark.
And you want to know why nobody talks about it? Because we're taught that these feelings are weaknesses.
That admitting you're struggling means you're failing. That real adults don't feel lost or scared or alone. But that's a lie.
The truth is, these late-night thoughts, they're not your enemy. They're actually your mind's way of trying to tell you
Something you've been too busy to hear during the day. Your loneliness isn't a flaw, it's a signal. It's your soul saying something needs to change. Let me tell you something about loneliness that nobody wants to admit.
The loneliest moments happen when you're surrounded by people. When you're at that party forcing yourself to laugh at jokes that aren't funny.
when you're in a relationship but feel miles away from the person next to you. When you're texting dozens of people, but none of the conversations go deeper than the surface. Because real loneliness isn't about being physically alone. It's about being unknown. It's about hiding so much of who you really are that you start to wonder if the real you even exists anymore.
It's about wanting to tell someone how you actually feel, but being too scared they'll think you're too much, too broken, too needy. So you keep it inside. You keep performing.
you keep pretending.
And late at night, when everyone's gone and the performance is over, you feel the weight of all those unspoken words crushing your chest. If you've ever thought those things,
You are not too much. You are not broken. You are not unlovable. You're just human. And being human means feeling deeply, hurting deeply, and yes, sometimes feeling desperately alone.
There are things you think about at night that you'd never say out loud during the day. Like how sometimes you're not sure if you're actually happy or if you've just gotten really good at convincing yourself. Like how you look at old photos of yourself and wonder when exactly you stopped being that person. When did the light in your eyes dim? When did you stop believing in the things that used to excite you? Like how you've accomplished everything you were supposed to accomplish, checked all the boxes society told you to check, but you still feel empty inside. Like how you're terrified that this is it, that this is all life is.
Wake up, work, distract yourself, sleep, repeat. And one day you'll be 80 years old looking back, wondering where all the time went and why you never did the things you actually wanted to do.
And here's what makes it worse. You can't talk about them. They'll try to fix you with platitudes when what you really need is for someone to just sit with you in the darkness and say, yeah, this is hard. So you keep it to yourself.
You scroll through your phone, looking for something, anything, to make you feel less alone. You watch videos of strangers living lives that look better than yours. You read comments from people, pretending to have all the answers.
And you feel more alone than ever because you're surrounded by connection, but you're still not connected. Here's something nobody wants to hear. Loneliness isn't something you can fix by adding more people to your life. You can swipe right on every app. You can fill your calendar with plans and your phone with contacts. But if you don't know how to be alone with yourself, you'll still feel lonely. Because the loneliness you feel at night, it's not really about other people. It's about the relationship you have with yourself. It's about the fact that you've spent so long trying to be what everyone else needs that you've lost touch with who you actually are. You've spent so long performing, pleasing, perfecting, that the real you got buried somewhere along the way. And now, at night, when it's just you and your thoughts, you don't even recognize yourself anymore. You look in the mirror and see a stranger, someone who made all the right choices but somehow ended up in the wrong life.
Someone who's so busy being everything to everyone else that they forgot to be anything to themselves. That's the real loneliness. Not the lack of people in your life, but the lack of you in your own life.
And until you face that, until you stop running from yourself every day and actually sit with who you are, what you feel, what you need, you're going to keep having these nights. These long, dark nights where you feel like you're drowning and nobody can save you. Because nobody can. Nobody can save you from yourself except you. So here you are. It's late. You're tired, but your mind won't shut off.
And you have a choice to make right now. You can close this video and go back to scrolling. You can distract yourself for another few hours until you're exhausted enough to pass out.
you can wake up tomorrow and pretend this feeling doesn't exist. That's option 1. Option 2 is harder. Option 2 means sitting with the discomfort. It means actually listening to what your late-night thoughts are trying to tell you.
It means admitting that something in your life isn't working and having the courage to do something about it. Because here's the thing about these nighttime feelings. They're not random. They're not happening for no reason.
Your soul is trying to wake you up. It's trying to tell you that the life you're living doesn't match the life you're meant for, that the person you're pretending to be isn't who you actually are, that the dreams you buried aren't dead. They're just waiting for you to be brave enough to dig them up. But you keep ignoring it. You keep hitting snooze on your own life. And every night, the feeling gets stronger. The loneliness gets deeper.
the disconnection gets wider. Until one day you'll be 40 or 50 or 60, and you'll realize you spent your entire life running from the one person you should have been running toward, yourself.
Don't let that happen. I'm going to tell you something that might change your life if you actually hear it. The loneliness ends when you stop abandoning yourself. Read that again. Every time you ignore your feelings, you abandon yourself.
Every time you say yes when you mean no, you abandon yourself. Every time you hide who you really are to make someone else comfortable, you abandon yourself. Every time you choose what's safe over what's true, you abandon yourself. And then you wonder why you feel so alone. You're alone because you left you.
So if you want this feeling to change, if you want to stop having these terrible nights where you can't sleep and you can't breathe and you can't escape your own mind, you have to come home to yourself. You have to start having the hard conversations, the ones with yourself, about what you really want, who you really are, what you actually need to be happy. You have to start setting boundaries, even when it disappoints people. You have to start being honest, even when it's uncomfortable. You have to start choosing yourself, even when it feels selfish. Because here's what nobody tells you. Choosing yourself isn't selfish. It's survival. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't love others if you don't love yourself. You can't be there for anyone else if you're not even there for you. And let me be real with you about something else. This journey, it's going to be lonely at first. Because when you start being honest about who you are and what you need, some people aren't going to like it. Some people are going to be upset that you're no longer playing the role they assigned you. Some relationships are going to fall apart because they were only working when you were betraying yourself. That's scary, I know. You're already lonely, and I'm telling you it might get lonelier before it gets better. But here's the difference. Right now, you're lonely because you're disconnected from yourself. When you start this work, you might be alone, but you'll be with yourself. And that changes everything. Because once you learn how to be your own companion, your own friend, your own support system, you stop being desperate for other people to fill the void.
You stop accepting relationships that hurt you just because you're scared of being alone. You stop performing for people who don't even really see you. And slowly, something magical happens. When you're finally being your authentic self, you start attracting authentic connections, people who love the real you, not the version you were pretending to be. Relationships that nourish you. Moments that feel true instead of performative. The loneliness doesn't come from being alone. It comes from being surrounded by people who don't know the real you. So yes, you might lose some people when you start being honest. But you'll gain something more valuable, yourself. And the right people will find you when you're finally brave enough to be. So here's what I want you to do tonight. Right now, in this moment, I want you to make a promise to yourself. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Promise yourself that you're going to stop running, that you're going to stop numbing, that you're going to stop pretending. Promise yourself that you're going to start listening to these late-night thoughts instead of drowning them out. Promise yourself that you're going to start speaking your truth, even when your voice shakes. Promise yourself that you're going to start choosing what's real over what's comfortable. I know it's scary. I know you don't know how. I know you're afraid of what you might lose. But let me ask you something. What are you gaining by staying where you are? What's so great about a life where you feel alone even when you're surrounded by people? Where you can't sleep at night because your soul is screaming at you to change. Where you're going through the motions but you're not actually living. You're not protecting yourself by staying small. You're not keeping yourself safe by hiding. You're not making your life easier by pretending.
You're just making yourself more and more of a stranger to the one person you'll spend every moment of your life with. You.
There's something sacred about these late-night hours. The world is asleep, the chaos is quiet, and for once, you can't hide from yourself. These are the hours when truth lives, when you're too tired to lie, too exhausted to perform,
too drained to pretend. These are the hours when you remember who you are beneath all the roles and responsibilities and expectations. These are the hours when your soul speaks loudest. And I know it's painful. I know this loneliness feels like it's going to swallow you whole. But what if I told you that this pain is actually the beginning of something?
What if I told you that everyone who ever transformed their life had nights exactly like this? Nights where they couldn't sleep because their soul was demanding more.
Nights where they felt so alone that they had no choice but to finally face themselves? What if this discomfort isn't a problem to fix, but a signal to follow? What if your late-night loneliness is actually your inner compass pointing you toward the life you're supposed to be living? What if everything you're feeling right now is exactly what you need to feel to finally wake up?
So here we are, you and me, in the middle of the night, having a conversation that most people are too afraid to have. And I want you to know something. I see you. Not the version you show the world.
Not the highlight reel, not the performance. I see the real you, the one who's scared and tired and lonely and brave enough to admit it. I see you searching for answers at 3 a.m. when you should be sleeping.
I see you trying so hard to figure it all out. I see you wondering if it's ever going to get easier. And I need you to know, you're not alone in this.
Right now, there are countless people watching this video feeling exactly what you're feeling. And there are millions more who aren't watching, but who are awake right now, staring at their ceiling, fighting the same fight.
We're all in this together, all of us lonely people who forgot that loneliness is the one thing that connects us all.
So tonight, when you finally close your eyes and try to sleep, I want you to remember something. These feelings you're having, they're not weaknesses, they're wake-up calls. This loneliness you're experiencing, it's not forever, it's a transition.
From the life you've been living to the life you're meant for. This darkness you're sitting in, it's not the end, it's the beginning. Because every transformation starts in the dark. Every butterfly begins.
Every dawn starts with the darkest hour before it. And you, right now, in this moment, sitting with your pain and your truth and your courage to keep going even when it's hard, you're not falling apart.
And what comes next is going to be worth every sleepless night. I promise. Sweet dreams, friend. And remember, if you're watching this at night, this story was for you. You're not alone. You never were.